All right, I love that introduction. It's good stuff, right? I don't know where we got the idea for the logo. I don't know. Could be the headphones and the microphone and the glasses there. But anyway, thank you. Here is SALESFU personality-based selling. Now, this is the introductory stuff here. This is the freebie stuff here. If you're already in the dojo, thank you. If you're on the website and you got this, hey, this is the sample. But you're going to love it. You're going to find a lot of good tidbits in here. So let's jump into it, all right? So what do we have to talk about here? So introduction to personality types. We've got a lot of history here. We got the Briggs-Myers history of personality types. If you aren't familiar with these, I think they came about in the 40s, maybe even the 30s. I believe it was a mother-daughter duo that came up with these identifications for different personality types. They're still used today. You can Google these. You can take these free tests online to kind of tell you what personality type you are. We've got something called the platinum rule. So the platinum rule is kind of like the golden rule, except a little bit better. It's treat others how they want to be treated based on their personality types. And I reference this quite a bit. This is a great rule that pertains a lot to what we do here at SALESFU. The four temperaments, man, the four temperaments, we're going back to Greek, all right? So we got Greek philosophers talking about the four temperaments, type A and type B personalities. Have you ever heard this? So type A personalities, the high-strung, like got to get stuff done, right? Now, that's also a form of personality types. And you may not have realized it, but men are from Mars, women are from Venus, talks a lot about personality types. Now, they use a huge, just a generality here to say that, hey, men are different than women. And what I really love, though, is that the combination of conversations. Sometimes men say something, women don't get it, like what we intended. And the reason is communication. So all of that leads to The Art of SALESFU. If you don't have the book yet, this will give you a little bit of insight, but man, you got to get the book. All right, so this is a sales class. You want to sell to more people, so why do we care about personality types? Here's the deal. It's all about communication. All right, the communication is key. So right up here, communication. All right, you got to communicate to your customers and you got to understand what they want. And the more they like you, the more they will buy from you. You get them. You ever go to a party and you just met somebody and, hey, you have a conversation and you just feel like you clicked. Did you ever click with somebody? You clicked with them because you were speaking the same language. Now, it's the same language, right? For everybody watching this, hopefully it's English because that's what I teach in. But more importantly, it's the right verbiage. It's the pace. It's the tone, right? It's the cadence to your speech patterns. Somebody else fit in with your speech patterns, and it made you feel good. People buy on emotion, and they justify with logic. So when they feel good, when they like you, when you're smiling, when you click, when there's that feeling, then they want to find a reason to buy from you, and that's when all the magic happens. All right. Now the trick is you want to have a real relationship with somebody. I specialize in over the phone communication, but you also want to have real rapport. You want to find some common ground with them, and you want to maintain really real, okay? I put really real here because I was going with the R theme here, alliterations. What I mean there is authenticity. I want you to be really real. Be authentic while you're learning all of these tactics, all right? It's the same message, just a different word. And why? Because we want to sell more stuff, baby, all right? This is sales. So what are the personality types for sales? Here we go. So up here, open emotions. Down here, we've got closed emotions. This is on a scale of maybe 1 to 10 right here. When you go shopping, first of all, you can download this, all right? You can download this form somewhere. I think it might be the next section, maybe it's a previous section, but it's a PDF file. All you have to do is click the button, download it, all right? You'll be good to go. And then you can jot this down if you want on a piece of scratch paper. I don't care. So draw, an X and play along here. So on a emotional scale, when you go shopping for something big, whatever it is you sell, I don't know, is it life insurance or furniture or cars or mortgages, whatever it is you sell, right? Think about it. When you go shopping for that thing, are you closed, meaning, hey, you've already got enough friends. You don't need to make buddy-buddy with the sales rep. You got a job to do, and you got you got to go buy something right now. Or are you open about your emotions? Like, hey, I need this couch to make me feel good. It's going to be in my house. It's going to be part of my life. I'm going to spend, 2 hours a day on there watching, Game of Thrones. So do you tell the person who is, selling you something what it's going to mean to you, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being terrible, not terrible, very closed, 10 being very open, what do you grade yourself as? Okay. Now, on this horizontal scale here, when you go out and buy something, are you very indirect about your goals, or are you very direct about your goals? Indirect, meaning you play your cards close to your vest. Could be, hey, I just don't want to tell you what exactly I want because I want you to give me the best thing you've got first. Or could just be like, hey, I'm not really sure what I want, so I'm not positive. Can you help me? Direct goals is usually like, hey, I did a little research. Here's what I want. Can you or can't you give it to me? You're very specific about your goals. All right. So think about those 2 factors here. All right. Now, I will be honest with you. I tend to be very closed when I go shopping for something. I'm not a very open person about that stuff anyway. So let's go with down here. I'm probably like a 2.5, maybe a 3, maybe even less. Maybe a 2. Right? And then on the directness, I'm pretty direct about what I want. So I maybe just right here, maybe that's a 7, right? So I fall in right about here on the scale. So I'm very closed and I give direction. Now, I'm not always like that. Sometimes I fall over here, sometimes I'm over here. But when I'm shopping for something specific, that's the mode I'm in. And that's important because we're in sales, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget about this. Like these personality types, I don't care who you are when you're talking to your spouse or when you're going to the movie theater or, when you're out with your friends, having a drink. What I care about is what you're like when you shop. Because if that's what you're like when you shop, that's how you want to be sold to. Now, that is your bias. So take a look at this. These people up here, they're called the radical reds. They have very open emotions, very direct goals. Most of you are going to fall into this category here, the radical reds. How do I know that? Because you're in sales. And most salespeople are gregarious, they're outgoing, they're friendly, and we know what we want. You got this because you want to sell more stuff. You have a goal. It could be monthly, could be quarterly, could be annual, and you want to achieve that goal, and you needed help to do it. And so guess what? Here we are. Now, there's a whole bunch of different categories here. I color code them because I think in colors very often. Maybe you're not that way. Maybe you need the alliterations, the radical reds. The other one is called the blue blues. These ones down here are called geeky greens, and these ones over here are called the business browns. So this should appeal to you no matter what personality type you are. It's very logical, it's colorful, they're alliterations, so it's very easy to remember, and they mean something. So let me go through these very quickly with you. Now, first of all, you're probably a radical red. All right, so you like to be outgoing. You probably go out with friends. You probably have stories. You want to be, very conversational. That's why you're in sales, because you can talk to strangers, whether it's on the phone or in person. You're comfortable with that, and you're usually pretty direct. You know what your goals are. Now, the blue blues over here, they're also open emotionally, but they have indirect goals. Now, the blue blues, I call them blue blues because, number one, they might cry, right? They're very emotionally open, and they're sometimes, they're indirect, they need help, or they might scare off easily. So if you've ever had that client that, man, you thought you closed them, you got them, like you got them to sign on the line when it's dotted, but then they went MIA. They never answered the phone again, or they shut their door. They pretended not to be home because they don't like confrontation, right? The blue blues got scared. Maybe they're crying somewhere, right? They're a little intimidated by you, and they're afraid of confrontation. So these people buy because you're helpful, because you're sincere, because you're authentic, because you slow down and you want to help them. Geeky greens next up on the agenda here. So geeky greens, very, very closed emotionally. Like these are very analytical people. These are your engineers, anybody who works with spreadsheets. They have indirect goals, but unlike the blue blues up here, The Boo Blues don't know what they want, right? They just want somebody to help them. The Geeky Greens know precisely what they want, and they have a system. They've got a spreadsheet, and they're judging you, by all of your numbers, but they're not going to tell you what those numbers are. Right? Why don't you just tell me your very best offer, and then I'll plug it into my spreadsheet, and you may or may not be the winner. I will call you back in 3.5 weeks after I've analyzed all the data. Okay, those are the Geeky Greens, my personal favorite. For most salespeople who, again, are radical reds, for the most part, the Geeky Greens are the exact opposite, polar opposites here. Don't understand them. You probably hang up the phone with them and think that guy's never going to buy. He's going to get analysis paralysis, but I've got a secret. I've got a way to close these Geeky Greens that you're going to love. Okay, next, business browns. Business browns, these are entrepreneurs. These are your go-getters. These are the people who don't have a whole lot of time, right? So they give you very direct goals. They might even have a to-do list, and they're closed emotionally. Listen, they've got an agenda. They've got something to accomplish. They're goal-oriented. They don't need to make friends, but they do need your help to accomplish something, and hopefully you can do it. Stay on target with these people. Don't play with their time. Don't be late. Keep to the schedule. All right? Those are the business browns. So let's start over here in our freebie tour here for the white belt, which is awesome, by the way. I don't know if you realize, but at the end of this class, you're going to get to be a white belt, certified white belt SALESFU. You're going to put this on your LinkedIn. The link will come to you. You're going to have some opportunities to look at some of the further educational opportunities there. So let's look at these radical reds, because that's you, and radical reds love to talk about themselves. So now, step one. Here's how to identify the radical reds, okay? They're going to use verbiage like fun, adventure, happy, dramatic, excited, thrilling. They want to have action. They want to be a little different. They want to have something new. They want to be partnering. They want to be cool. They want to be positive. They will use slang words with you too. Hey, pal. Hey, buddy. They want to be friendly. And they might even curse. So if you ever get that client who just randomly curses, like me, I'm a nerd, right? I don't usually curse very often. I'm a little intimidated by it. But when I'm talking to a radical red, shit, that's all right, dog. Did I just say that? Oh man, that doesn't sound right. That's okay. Don't tell my mom. So the radical reds are a different breed. Like you guys are free with your speech. You guys want to be friendly, and the reason is because you don't think that people who aren't your friend are going to give you the best deal. You think that your friends are going to give you the hookup, right? So when you're talking to somebody and it's a significant purchase, you want to feel like there's some kind of a bond there, like they get you. They don't want to be too stuffy. They don't want you to be a headset jockey. They want to know that you're a real person on the other end of the line. So when you get this person on the phone, you connect with them right away, and you hang up the phone, and you think, man, that guy is really cool. Like, that is a cool dude. Like, he told you about his job. He gave you stories about his background. He gave you all kinds of information. And, he probably asked for something like, hey, listen, like, can you help me out here? Like, come on, buddy. So the radical reds speak quickly, speak directly, but you don't have to use very formal language, all right? Radical reds are fun. In my wildest dreams, I'm a radical red. All right, boo blues though, all right? So the boo blue. The boo blue, these folks don't tend to be too much in sales, but there are a few of you watching this video who are boo blues who really want to learn how to connect to the other personality types. But first you got to understand how you want to be sold to and why it's different than everybody else. Now, if you're a radical red, and you get this boo blue on the phone, you're probably scared of them, and you probably think they're flaky or something, but they're not. They're just different. All right. So boo blues, they buy because they want to have something that's safe, secure. Family is usually a motivational factor. They want to trust you. Trust is very important. They want somebody to be supportive, loyal, dependable, helpful, teamwork. They're cautious a little bit, right? Sometimes these guys can be scared off, but they like agreement. They want to agree with you. They want to gain consensus. The boo blues, oftentimes, you got to go talk to a gatekeeper. The boo blue will say, oh, I got to talk to my uncle before I buy this car, before I make this decision on these solar panels, or whatever it is you're selling. Dental, right? Even dentists. I hope some dentists who are watching this thing, because even the boo blues will talk to family members like, hey, should I get that cap on my teeth? And I don't know. The boo blues they want to gain that consensus. They're people pleasers. They want somebody else to tell them it's okay to do what you're doing. It's the right thing to do. And your job as a salesperson, your job is to tell them it's the right thing to do. Your job is to give them the warm and fuzzies. Your job is to listen to them tell their stories, be friendly, and know that they are passive, but give them a safe place to be passive, all right? So slow down your speech patterns. This is where that be really real section comes in, because you have to be absolutely authentic with a boo blue. Like, you've got to bare your soul, and the more you share, the more they like you. So the law of reciprocity comes into play here. Now, I will tell you, the boo blues and the radical reds, they're both on that open agenda for the emotions. These people buy because of you. They want you to be the one that sells them. They don't really care much about the company. I mean, obviously that's important, the entity that you work for, the brand name, whatever that is, but most importantly, they want to know that you have something, to give them, and you're valuable, and you value their relationship. All right, so the boo blues are very, very dependable once you get them on board. All right, next, everybody's favorites, the geeky greens. All right, so the geeky greens, these people are closed on the emotional scale, and they're very indirect, but they're not indirect because they don't know what they want. The boo blues, they don't know what they want. They just know they need help. I think I got taken advantage of last time. Somebody did this on my financing, or my mortgage, or my car, or the last dentist. I think they replaced 5 teeth. They only need to replace 2. They always got a sad story. The geeky greens, though, do not get taken advantage of. They are the ones who get one over on the man. They find the loopholes, and they take pride on finding the loopholes that nobody else could find, because they think they're smarter than everybody else. And truth be told, maybe they are, because they take the time to actually look at all this stuff. But they have a tendency to get what we call analysis paralysis. You know these folks. They put it on a spreadsheet. They tell you they're going to shop, and they're going to figure out after they talk to 4 other competitors what they're going to do. And then they get a second opinion, a third opinion, a fourth opinion. By the time that happens, then your options for the first one have changed. It goes around in circles sometimes. But here's how you identify them. They use words like analyze, design benefits, logical, thorough, specific, detail-oriented, reasonable. They want you to know what the recoup time is. Business terms there, analytical business terms. They want you to be precise, controlled, careful, fact-based. All right? Just the facts, man. Just the facts. The reason being is they take an emotion out of the equation altogether, right? It's just the numbers. Now, as a salesman, man, I always had a hard time getting any kind of a feedback from these guys, right? Because you try and crack a joke as a radical red, right? You say something funny, and then there's just crickets on the other end of the phone line. Well, you probably have a geeky green on the other end of the phone line. They don't get the message. Right? Maybe they do. They know logically that it's supposed to be funny, but they're not moved to actually laugh. You might get a sympathetic chuckle, and that's about it, before they pivot back to the numbers and say, okay, so you're funny. Now, can you tell me about that loyalty program again, and how many times can I use the warranty, and what's the deductible on that? They want to know about all the numbers. So I want you to use some of these words with the geeky greens. And here's what happens, right? So the geeky green figures he's talking to a salesman. He knows you're not in the same personality type. He's just trying to trick you into giving him all the information so he can take it all, squirrel it back to his computer that you're on right now, put it in a spreadsheet, and figure out what it is. But if you use words like his back to him, slow down your speech, give it to him directly, specifically, precisely. Listen, sir, I need to know how you're making an educated decision about this. You're awfully going about it with a plan, and I can tell you have some specific goals. I'm guessing it revolves around a recoup time, some type of return on an investment. If you allow me to take a look at your determining factors, I can design a program that benefits you. What do you say? Will you share with me your goals? Are you looking at the recoup time? And then wait. It's important to wait with these guys or gals. Give them some time to formulate their response, because they don't want to give away too much to you, because they don't trust you, you sneaky salesperson, you. So slow down. If you use their language, it'll be amazing. You will see them open up to you and tell you what their goals are. I have had geeky greens email me their spreadsheets and say, listen, Mr. Brennan, it's very important to me to analyze this from various different angles, but I put together an algorithm. Here's my my formula for determining if this is the best decision. Great, Mr. Geeky Green. Send that over to me, sir. I have a safe, secure connection via email, and I love Excel spreadsheets. I would love to take a look at yours. And I'll tell you what, that'll help me design the best product specifically for you, and we won't waste time offering you terms or products that don't meet your specific needs. And they love this, right? And then I always give them too many options, right? So I'll give them, you know, if they've got 6 columns there, I'll give them 5. Heck, I'll try and give them 7 sometimes. Reason being is Geeky Greens want to shop. So I'll give them all the information to put in all of their columns, and then they run their data all the way at the end of the spreadsheet. And guess what? At the end of their spreadsheet, if I've given them all the options from me, it doesn't matter what they're buying. They're buying it from me, right? And now they're going to buy it from you, because you've got the trick. It's called the shopper's close. You give the Geeky Greens so much information, they can't help but buy from you, right? It's a good trick to have. So the business browns, let's talk about them. All right, so these are your entrepreneurs, judges, professionals, anybody who's used to being in charge, right? So these guys are mid-management sometimes, sometimes upper management. These folks are busy. They don't have a whole lot of time. You're probably trying to sell them something, maybe personal. If you're watching this, maybe you're selling them business to business. I don't know, but the same rules apply. Listen, you got to be prepared. You got to be results-oriented. You got to be dependable. They're very traditional. You might find a lot of Gen X people in here. They're important, right? They're market leaders. They want win-win, solutions. They're responsible. They have objectives, and they want you to be competitive, right? Now, you satisfy these goals. These guys love to cross stuff off lists. I'm a business brown. Do you know how many lists I have? Right? I got lists on lists, right? I got lists. You can see my list back here, right? I got stuff. I write down stuff just so I can check it off a box sometimes, right? This video was on a list. I love lists. Business browns love lists. Ask them, hey, excuse me, sir, Mr. Brown, I know you're very busy. I'd like to be very efficient for you. Can you just let me know what's on your list? What's important to you? I'll make sure that I'm prepared and I can obtain all those objectives for you. Go ahead, I'm ready. He will appreciate the fact that you're efficient, you've recognized that he's busy, you've given him kind of a pedestal close because you told him he's important, and he's formal. He's always Mr. Brown. Listen, business browns, geeky greens, you call them by their last names. Blue blues, you say, listen, you remind me of my aunt. Phyllis, what can I do to help you? Radical reds, they want to be, hey, buddy, pal. They, don't necessarily use a nickname, but you can call him Bob instead of Robert, all right? That's the difference. Every personality type wants to be addressed differently. Now, if you call a business brown by his first name, he may think that you're not professional. He may think that you're artificially trying to schmooze with him and try and get in good with him, and his guard's going to go up. But if you call him business brown, which seems counterintuitive, you think it being formal is going to give you, it's kind of some standoffishness, but actually he's going to respect you more because you have that business relationship, and the business relationship, not the personal, is important to this guy. So here is the PDF I'm going to make available here to you. And you can print this up. If you're in a cubicle in an office somewhere, or in a desk, you're working from home, or you're in a car, you got some dashboard time, put this PDF into a folder somewhere, whatever your sales presentation is, and take a look at it periodically, right? Maybe you talk to this guy or gal on the phone, you've identified what personality type they are. It takes a little bit of practice, but I can get it done now in about 30 seconds. I've got a pretty good idea of which category you're in, and then I change my conversation to match your personality type and your communication style. Now, I say the same message every single time, but my speech patterns are different. And because of that, I convert more. So we want you to identify your clients. Download the PDF file that I just showed you. I want to identify with your client, right? So I want you to identify them by their speech patterns, and I want you to mirror them using their own words, using their own pace. You can even if you're face-to-face, you can use some of their body language as well. And when you're doing this, something amazing is going to happen. Because you're paying attention not only to their words, but how they're saying them, you're going to end up listening more. And good salespeople listen more. We ask thoughtful questions, and that helps us figure out, hey, what does this person really want? And because you're listening more, the more they talk, the more they like you. You're going to build rapport because you're going to have genuine interest in them. You're going to build up relationships, and you're going to be real. You're going to be a real person to them, not just numbers, not just, that guy that wants to get their money, right? And that's what this is all about. You want to build up the relationship. You want to solve a problem. You don't need to make a buck. I think it was Zig Ziglar who said, hey, you can make a sale and you can make some money, or you can make a friendship and you can make a fortune. I may have paraphrased that. Sorry, Zig. All right, here's the deal. You can convert up to 300% more in sales. And here's why. Because if you're a natural radical red and you just try and sell people like, hey, buddy, take a look at this, and you got your sales schmooze on and you think like you're nailing it, but you're wondering why, like, the Boo Blues just disappear, and you just think, you blow off the Geeky Greens because that guy's not going to buy from anybody, and the Business Browns are, you just think those guys are asses, right? So, but now that's not what they are. That's your excuse for not being able to communicate with them. Now, not only can you convert your radical reds, you can increase your sales 100% more by learning how to communicate with the Boo Blues, another 100% by communicating with the Geeky Greens, another 100% by talking to the Business Browns. Okay? Now, that was pretty fast, but I'll tell you what, that's just the free stuff. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Hopefully, you have found this to be entertaining and informative. Now, you've watched this whole thing, so you've got to be a hustler, right? You've got to be the person that wants to take the next step. I think it's safe to say that you have the desire and the ability. You just need a little direction. You just need somebody to point you in the right direction so you could find massive success. So this was just the free stuff we gave you today. This is just it. This is just the free stuff. This video is taking, peanuts of, time to put together here. Think of what the stuff is that we actually charge you for. So download this PDF. Hey, go buy the book, because the book is fantastic, right? Now, take the next step in your career and become a SALESFU Black Belt certified sales professional. It's easy. The link's there. We'll send you the email, and take the next steps today. I appreciate everything that you've done to support me. Hopefully I've helped you. If you're in the dojo already and you've already got this included, you've already paid for it, hey, thank you. Sell well. Sundance out.